What's up, YouTube? The Upstart Goblin here. Today I have part 4 in the Quest for Number 1 in Dueling Network series. Um, I haven't played in a couple days, so as you can see, my ranking's fallen quite a bit. We're down to 363. My rating is still 673. I decided to stop after 100 games on single. I have 89 wins and 11 losses, which is a really good win percentage. Just haven't been able to throw the time at actually getting all the way up to the top yet. But in this video, I wanted to do some deck editing for you guys. So here's the build I've been playing pretty much all the way up through the rankings. There's been a couple changes here and there. I realized about halfway through that I wasn't even playing Raigeki, so I worked that in for I don't remember what I took out, maybe a Book of Moon or something. But I put that in, and so here's the build I have been playing. And I wanted to talk over the changes that I'm going to try to make with you guys as I'm doing it here. So there's nothing I really hated in testing. Everything was generally okay. I had a couple problems with some cards. I mean, part of it could be Dueling Network. Part of it could be, just bad luck. But it always seemed like every time I opened this, I also had a Fox. And I know it's not statistically likely, so I'm not going to say, oh, well, I won't play all of them because of that reason. But I liked Fox because it was searching out the counter trap and giving me the tribute fodder to use it on the field, as well as the only scale 2 I played in the whole deck. So it was the only way I could actually pendulum summon back an Archfiend Eccentric. Which, Archfiend Eccentric was okay, but I really didn't like... Oh, ignore the side deck, forgot to mention, I've only been playing singles. The Archfiend Eccentric... If I drew 2, it was getting cloggy, and I just generally didn't think it had it all that much. It wasn't able to be pendulum summoned back, and its scale of 7, all it opened up was part Naga, which I never really want to pendulum summon anyway. So I think I'm gonna cut down 2 Archfiend Eccentric, cut them out of there for now, and reduce the budget of the deck by pretty much all of it. I mean, the only other card that costs any money in here is Luster Pendulum. So we'll do that to start. And I think I am going to drop the Mud Spectre engine for now. It's okay, but if you open this without the Fox, it's bad. If you open this with the Fox, Fox can't go plus, and it just becomes, just okay. So I think I am going to drop that whole Mud Spectre engine right there. And the trap. So that gives us some spots to work with right away. I ended up bumping Mirror Conductor up to 3 after just a couple games, and this was really good. I think it needs to be at 3 because of its interactions with Ragnazero, as well as you need to be able to play a good number of pendulums here. I have no problem with the Performapal engine I played, the 2 reptiles, because getting King of the Feral Imps was easy enough, and then that gave you the option of Gigabyte if you need to extend your play. And then the Lizard Draw and Part Naga gave you a high scale and a low scale to search. So I liked having that kind of versatility whenever I would make any kind of exceed. I don't see any problem with that. I think I'll probably keep it like that. I'm not a net decker, but I've been looking at some other builds of people who play similar decks to this. I'll pull one up right now. So this first one was actually... Tyler Matthews. He got 5th place at Indy Regional, and a card that he played as well as the other deck that I saw, they both used a card called Magical Abductor. For those of you that don't know what that does, we have it here. It's a scale 3 spellcaster. The pendulum effect, every time a spell card is activated, put a spell counter on it when it resolves, and once a turn you can remove 3 spell counters to search any pendulum monster, which seems okay. If it's already in your scale and you don't play that many spells, I originally skipped over this card because I didn't think it would be that good. Based just on that, you're never gonna really get 3 spells on there to resolve it. And then I thought, well, I guess it could work if your opponent's activating a lot of spells. So if you're playing against Spellbook, for instance, this card does not have a limit to how many spell counters it can hold. It doesn't have a max 3, so they activate 7 spell cards in return, and you're searching a pendulum from your deck every turn. That is pretty good. Now, I don't think spellbooks are meta necessarily, but spell cards are not out of favor yet. and pendulum spells would also count for this. So I see the reasoning behind this. And then the monster effect, every time a spell card is activated, you place a counter on it, same thing. And it gets an extra 100 attack for every spell counter, and then once a turn you can remove 3 to add a level 1 spellcaster from your deck to your hand. It looks like the target that Tyler used was Valor, and that's not bad. Valor's not bad this format at all. It's not great against some matchups, Cosmo and Infernoid, but for the most part, Valor is a generally good card to have, and if it's not good in the matchup, you can easily side it out. And he also sided the Drool and Lockbird for, I guess, Mage Spectre and Spellbook matchups. So I see the reasoning behind that, and for that reason, I'm going to at least put in the side deck as a consideration of something I can test. And continuing to look at this build, you see some Denkos in the main deck. You see playing 1 Gigabyte, 1 Nefarious Archfiend. I did not like Nefarious Archfiend when I was testing it. Let me pull that up real quick. Yeah, he's the guy that you can special him from the grave if you during your opponent's end phase by destroying a monster you control. But unless you're just pendulum summoning back the same monsters every turn, you can't really take advantage of it. And when you don't have that many pendulum monsters, because it looks like Matthews ran 14 pendulum monsters, so I don't think it has that kind of recurrence yet that this card takes on a ton of use, and for that reason I'm going to pass on that one and continue to play 2 Gigabyte. Gigabyte's the water for the Abyss Dweller, as well as it's got the same effect as Archfiend Eater, but I feel like Gigabyte's just much more useful. The other reason that this card would be good is that Gigabyte can actually float for Archfiend Eater, because when Gigabyte's a Destroy by Battle or card effect, you can special 1500 attack, 200 defense. And if we sort real quick, figure out what we have there, it's basically the Charmer monsters plus this guy that doesn't exist yet, the random Fabled guy, some Vylon that has no synergy, and Neo Flamvel guy. So basically one of the three elemental pets that the Charmer's theme has. I do like the instant fusion at 1. I would bump it up at 2 if I can find space in the extra deck. I'll look at that momentarily. The main deck Denko is what I found the most interesting about Tyler Matthews' deck. I'm not sure I totally agree with it based on the format we're in, but I guess being able to summon Denko and then Pendulum Summon and OTK that way gave your play some protection. I don't agree with them in the main deck because I think our format's going to be predominantly Cosmo and Infernoid, neither of which play too much back row at all. So I'm not sure if I agree with that yet. On the side, I could definitely see Denko seeing some work, but I think that might have been a mistake there. And the only trap he did play was Vanities. He played some Upstart Goblin, yay. And I've noticed that in all the decks that I've seen the past week, just in the new format, people are starting to shift back towards actually playing MST, which I find interesting. And I'm not sure if that's because we're shifting to the pendulum-oriented meta and playing MST is better than playing Wavering Eyes right now because not everything is pendulum yet. But I don't know. We'll look at that too. I got my MSTs in the side right now. I didn't really have any games where I felt like I needed them. I do have a breakdown for you guys. I had 89 wins and 11 losses. Of my losses, 6 were to Cosmo, so more than half right off the bat. One of them I got disconnected. One of them I lost to a mirror match, some kind of Performage Pendulum bullshit. I don't know. I just call it clusterfuck. I don't know what this Pepe shit is. But, and 3 of them I lost to people playing Exodia Chicken Race Turbo. So in order to try and get a better idea of how this deck can actually perform, I think what I'm going to try and do is fix this to be able to play in matches. I'm going to play some matches for you guys and try and climb my match rating up. And I don't know which I'm going to end up actually going for, but I feel like after 100 games in the new format, I have a feel for what's going on, at least in game 1, and I'm comfortable with how my deck works. Excuse me. Samurai Cavalry of Reptier. This card I think is really good, and the 2 lists that I looked at, one of them sided 3, the other one main 2. I feel like this card is good at the 3 scale, which I now have a lot of. We only got the 5 scales, the high scales rather, of the 1 Archfiend, the 3 Luster, and 3 plush fire and the lizard draw. And then we got the 7 low scales. So I think it's 8 high, 7 low. I feel iffy about dropping him unless I was also putting in the magical abductors, which I'm not convinced is the right call. I'm not sure if that's what I want to do yet. The other combo that I saw from this looks like Alex Smith's Performance Pendulum deck. He was using Vector Pendulum of Vanilla from the new set. This guy. He was using that, and I'm with Painful Decision. Is that one? Yeah, the spell card. So what he does, you activate this, you send level 4 lower normal from your deck to your grave, in this case Vector, and then you add a Vector from your deck to your hand. So you're searching out a low scale pendulum and putting one in your grave for Masked Chameleon, which he also played. And Ignister Prominence only requires a tuner and any pendulum non-tuner. So as long as you're bringing back a pendulum with 0 defense with Masked Chameleon, enter Vector Pendulum, enter Luster Pendulum, then that was an easy 1-card Ignister Prominence, or he also played the Psyframe Omega. But both of those seem like pretty good plays. I'm not sure if that's something I want to do. I'm going to look at that. I do have Masked Chameleons in real life, so I could put those in pretty easily and not have to worry too much about the swap. But hey, I'm not sure if that's the right play, especially because I think this card would just be inconsistent. If you open 2 of the normal monsters, or if you draw this mid to late game, it's going to be a dead card. And for that reason, I don't think it adds the consistency that it looks like it would. You'd think search any normal monster would be, a good thing to start off your game, especially when it's a card that goes against your mirror match. But I think that would just be inconsistent. I wouldn't like drawing this. I wouldn't like drawing this, except on like turn 1, turn 2, when I'm trying to get going. And for that reason, I'm not going to play either of those. But it is an interesting combo. Both decks were playing Upstart Goblin and to try and minimize their chop lineup and make sure that their combos were getting going as early as possible. I think that's not a bad idea. I think that if you've watched my previous videos, you know that Upstart's going to increase the consistency of getting any given card by about 30% on turn 1. So I think that's enough to convince me of it. And the OTKs I can put up are going to put up more than 9,000 damage, so 1 Upstart won't kill me. 1 Upstart will still let me kill him. And even 3, with the right hand, I can still OTK for 11,000. The Blackwing Zephyros was not used by either of them, but I do really like it because it's going to let me bring back Luster to my hand, and that helps me get to Ignister earlier. I think you saw in at least one of the duel videos I did, I had Zephyros in the grave. I went Luster Pendulum and Plush Fire, popped it, special summon from the deck, used Zephyros to bring it back, make an Exceed, clear the back row, whatever I need to do, and then I was able to Pendulum summon Luster and the Plush Fire from the extra deck and make the Ignister that way. And if you only open the 1 Luster, it's going to be pretty hard to make your Ignister Prominence, and that's a card that can be game-breaking. Zephyros lets you not only reuse it if you need to do it multiple times, but it will also allow you to synchro with that same Luster you used to pop the Plush Fire, while giving you level 4 normal monster on the field, and I think that's pretty darn good. Both of the decks opted for 2 Instant Fusion, and the one played 1 Norden, one played 2 Norden. I don't mind that. Tyler Matthews, the first one I was talking about, used 2 Ignister Prominence. I don't think that's necessary unless I start playing Masked Chameleon, and even then I'm not convinced it's necessary. So I'm going to opt to not do that. However, I do think that adding the second Instant Fusion will give me some consistency in my aggression. And so we're going to try and find room for the second Norden in the extra deck and the second Instant Fusion in the main. Sorry guys, there we go. Okay. Threatening Roar is one of the cards that a lot of you guys have called into question or wondered why I was playing it. And I explained my reasoning on it, but I'm not sure that it's the right call. I think that cards like Jurighetto might fit better here. It's a level 4 monster that I can use on both turns. But against Cosmo, you know what you want to do is stop the OTK. You can't let Farm Girl hit for damage. You can't let them get through. And cards like Electromagnetic Turtle is cards that I was considering using. And I think Jurighetto might have more versatility in this deck because it's a little 4 monster you can use for your Exceed Summon OTK, as well as being able to stop the OTK. So I think I am going to drop the Threatening Roars for the Jurighettos here. And I am going to play 2 Jurighettos. I don't like it at 3, it's cloggy, I've never liked it at 3. Besides the one tournament I played 3 and then I decided it was cloggy and I didn't like it at 3. What else was I just talking about? Oh, the Electromagnetic Turtle. Those of you that don't know what this does, we've been waiting on this import for a long time, and it's actually in Yugi's decks. It's level 4. During your opponent's battle phase, you can banish it from the graveyard to end the battle phase. And that's a once per duel effect, so you can only play 1. But it is level 4 we can exceed with. It's light, it's got decent defense, could wall certain decks, and that being able to stop the battle phase when you might lose is going to be pretty critical, I think. I think that's a call a lot of people will disagree with playing in this deck because I'm not playing Reasoning, I'm not playing anything at Mills, I'm not playing, well, I am playing Foolish, but I'm not really playing any other ways to get into the grave. But I think this card is severely underrated. I think it's going to be pretty useful moving forward. So that being said, we got 2 spots left. I think we can put Vanities in here. I think that will be able to steal a lot of games. I think that was a good call, and I think I was definitely wrong for not playing it before. This way, anytime we get any kind of Exceed on the board, we can pretty much end the game by just putting a soft lock on them with Vanities. Especially if we get close to winning in one turn, wait for the next turn, and go off. I still think Bottomless is correct, even though neither of the builds I looked at use it. And I'm not saying, like, these guys are being some of the pioneers for this deck. In TCG at least. They're playing decks that haven't been proven. We don't have a solid TCG list of them yet, and they're playing them and they're winning. So we have to look at their success as great for them. They must be doing something right. At the same time, it's very early in the deck's development, so we can't take everything they use and everything they don't use as, oh well, this must be the right call. I am going to put one it's already here. I am going to put one MST into the main deck. I'm going to test it out. I think it's going to be dead in certain matchups, but I see why it's played. It's to give you an advantage over the mirror match, to give you an advantage over Med Specters, give you an advantage over Cleese, which is still a live deck, actually, guys, if you haven't seen. Yeah, I think that's the main deck I'm going to go with, at least to start for matches. Now let's move on to the extra deck. I do like Double Dweller. I found myself making King of the Fair Limps a lot, but I think I was forcing it. I think I could play with 1, and for that reason I'm going to drop it for that second Norden. Is there anything else I want to add? I don't think Emerald goes in this deck very well. I just don't think it has that kind of synergy. You could recycle the Pendulums, I guess, but you're trying to push for an OTK. Rarely are you going to be making an Exceed just to sit on. The only way you're going to be doing that is if your OTK gets stopped, and that's what the logic behind Vanity's Warning Bottomless is. So I'm thinking that that's probably not the right call. Looking at Alex Smith's deck again, he did play Constellar Pleiades and Artifact Dorndal. He was also playing 2 Xyz Universe in his side deck, which this card is broken, and that will definitely be worked into my side deck momentarily. But I don't think we need to commit any space in our regular extra deck to play that kind of card. So what I'm thinking here is that the extra deck's probably fine the way it is right now. I don't want to fit an Emerald. That's about the only other thing I can think of putting in there. Maybe a 101 as a more defensive option. But I don't know. I feel like if I'm going to make an Exceed in defense mode, I want it to be a giant hand, not 101. You know what? That's kind of cheap. I'm going to take a giant hand out. There's no realistic chance I'm going to be able to afford it. I'll just put in a 101 and call it a day. Contradicting myself out the wazoo. Alright, so let's take a look at the side. We are clearly not going to be siding Magical Abductors. I am going to leave the 2 MST in there. I decided that Debunk is probably not the best side for this format, and I'm going to take out the Cyber Dragon Dre's. What I am going to do is bring in Xyz Universes in here. For those of you that don't remember this card, this actually topped in a couple decks and then had Surprise Factor, and that's when I was able to do it. It never really panned out there, but I think it's time to bring it out again. So what it does, it targets 2 face-up Xyz on the field, sends both to the graveyard, special summon from your extra deck. Anything that's not a number, whose rank is the total of the 2 you sent to the graveyard. So if you're sending 2 4s, you can bring out an 8, or if you can have them be 1 rank lower than the 2 you send. So you can send 2 rank 4 monsters in the field, bring out Mecha Phantom Beast, Draco Sack. And I think that's what it was used for before. I think it was back when Medolces were popular. And the Medolce OTK was starting up. They would bring out, Invoker and Tiramisu, let's say, and you said, actually get rid of both of your Exceeds and I'll bring out Draco Sack. And I think it's going to have even more relevance when we get Infinity. But for now, I'm going to work a couple of these in because of the specific Exceed called DDD something or other. Duo Dawn King Kali Yuga, which is quite a mouthful, but it's broken. After this card is Exceed summoned for us this turn, other cards and their effects cannot be activated on the field. Also, negate other card effects on the field. And then during either player's turn, you can detach a material, destroy all spell or traps on the field. So what we have here appears to be a Cold Wave Heavy Storm with 3,500 attack that you can bring out by sending 2 of your opponent's monsters to the graveyard. So I think that is worth siding in. I think we're going to work that in mirror matches, and I think that's going to be pretty broken. The other one that this guy played was Mermail Abyssgaios. I'm not sure I understand why that one in particular. Abyssgaios, to remind you, level 5 or higher monsters can attack, and once turn, you can detach a material and negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls that have less attack than this card. I see the logic. I don't think it's the right call. So let's take a look at the rank 7 pool, because I'm looking mainly at mirror matches for this. Possibly like a random Stellar Knight matchup, but we're going to look for 7 to 8 because we're mainly going to be hitting rank 4 Exceeds. So we could bring in Alsai. Alsai is always a good call. Call the top target of your deck and you can put one back on it, but it does target, so it's not going to out any Cosmos. We don't have to worry about Cosmos, this is for the mirror match. What am I talking about? Felgrand is always a decent call, although Abyssgaios probably outclasses Felgrand for what it does. We could bring in the Big Eye for the steals and go for OTKs, or we could bring in Thunder End Dragon for blowing up the field monsters. I'm not sure the answer's in here. I'm not sure we have that Exceed that's going to do that yet until we have Cyber Dragon Infinity, which is going to be good for get rid of 2 Dantes, summon Infinity, sounds pretty good. I think we're going to leave Duo Dawn King in there for now, and we'll cut Xyz Universe to 2, because we never really want to see doubles of that. What else can we put in the side? We could put in some hand traps. We know Cosmo and Inferno is a problem, so the Iron Walls are not going anywhere. We're already playing 3 Wavering Eyes for mirror matches and Mod Specters, but we could side in Masker Restrict. This is a card I've been thinking about doing ever since I got absolutely obliterated at ARG States by Tribute Stun. Just bringing 2 Masker Restrict, no Stormforth, no Soul Exchange, no Summon a Token Tribute. I had a lot of problem with that deck actually, because I was only playing the 5 traps or whatever, so the main deck decrees he had more of a problem, but all 3 games he started off by summon Majesty's Fiend, set Lance, pass, and summon Vanity's Fiend, set Lance, pass. And the first game I had to make a really weird play with Delteros to try and get over it, and that just didn't fly, and then that was game. And then I managed to win game 2, I don't remember how, but game 3 it was the same kind of thing. He had his monster on the board, I couldn't get rid of it, and at that point the game was pretty much over. Not much you can do. I think I am going to work Decrees into the side instead of Denkos. I don't think you need them. Well, I was going to say I think you need the normal summon more if you're trying to clear a target before you actually go off. But the more I think about it, you don't need to clear your target if you have Denkos. So let's put 2 Denko in the side. And that gives us 3 more spots to work with. We could do something for this mirror match here. We could play something else to hit Mod Specters. I've been thinking Malevolent Catastrophe might see a comeback, but it probably won't see play in the side deck if you're playing this deck, especially. Could put in time spaces. Time spaces have generally pretty good spread this format. I think I will try that. I think I'm going to try time spaces, because that's going to help against the mirror match and Cosmo. It might come in, look, I spelled time spaces. It's going to come in against a lot of different things. So let's work 3 into the side, and I don't want to look too much at my inside out right now, because I'm not preparing for an event, we're just trying things. But I feel like against Mage Specters, you just side out Regeki, side out Bottomless, side out, I don't know, I'm sure you can find something else. Maybe the Reptier, and then bring in the 3 time space and 2 Mask Restrict, and then you're pretty much going to win that game. Alright, so I already ran over what I wanted to go to. That's the video for today. I think I'm going to start playing this deck in matches the next couple of days here, and I'll get videos for you guys as soon as I can. Alright, thank you guys always for watching. Thanks for being my subscribers. If you're not my subscriber, go be one. Go to my channel. I got a lot of videos I think you guys will like. Gonna be putting out more content as I can. Let me know what you thought of this video, if this was something that was beneficial for you, if you guys liked it, if you think it's something I should do in the future. I've been getting a generally pretty good response on the duel videos, so I was happy to see that. Yeah, show me some love, thumbs up, comment, subscribe. See you guys later.